Hello, 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 beautiful people. We're here with the beautiful Kinsey Schofield, who was so gracious to come and talk to us today.
Oh my gosh, Paula, we've got to catch up. I mean, how much do we have to talk about today? We'll be here all day, honestly, if we just go through headline by headline.
Oh my goodness. Kinsey, thank you so very much for coming here. Please do tell me about your YouTube channel so I can guide people to your YouTube channel.
Oh, absolutely. I think I'm really pushing people more towards my dog's trying to say hi. Would you like to say hi to him, Paula? Come
Yes,
here, baby.
please. I have
Oh,
City here, but I don't want to
he
bring her
just
because she's a
he
terror.
just hauled it. He just hooked it. But when he comes back, I'll pull him up. I think I'm leaning more towards my podcast lately because I'll tell you why. There was an influx of Sussex squad supporters that followed my YouTube channel, and it kind of scared me. So I have been being like, oh, listen to my podcast, because I'm afraid if I put anything up negative about Harry and Meghan, I will get trounced over there. It's the To Die For Daily podcast. And we recently had Sally Bedell Smith on there, who wrote a really beautiful book about Charles and most recently about Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. And, I talk a lot to royal authors on there. So thank you. It's so good to see you again. And what I love about you is that you are completely uncensored. You don't hold back, and you really own your opinions, which is hard to find. You see a lot of flip-flopping in the royal. Well, you see flip-flopping, but there's also so many new developments that it's hard not to, unless you see the actual evolution, it can look pretty like a lot of flip-flopping. So I love you because you are unapologetic about your opinion.
Well, so are you because I know you faced a hard time for a while for your opinions. The difference is that I'm 54. I'm from that generation that we really don't care.
Yeah.
So
But
so
you also
that's
saw so much that I mean, I'm sure that I only remember vaguely reading through my mom's magazines, but that you were the purchaser of you actually saw some of this unfold in real life, some of the biggest royal scandals that we're now kind of seeing rehashed on The Crown, or we're seeing revisited through Harry's book Spare. You like lived through some of that, and it's as if it were yesterday to you, where some of us are now looking at it through The Crown going, is that how it really happened? Or reading Spare and wondering, is that how it really happened? And spoiler alert, it didn't. But
no, but it's quite scary nowadays. I'll tell you, can see it is very scary. Uh, for example, okay, I know a lot of people are going to be upset. It's, for example, I remember when Charles wanted to marry Camilla, and he said that he knew that there was no way that he would be allowed to marry Camilla or without because of everything. So he said that she would be known as Princess Consort. I remember very clearly that statement coming out, that whenever Charles ascended the throne, she would be known as Princess Consort. I'm not imagining that. You can actually go back and Google it. And then people say to me, "Oh, that's 2005, Paula. Let them be."
yeah.
And then in 2020, when the Queen and Prince Philip were, people started to see that they were, and they're, getting older, the question popped up again. And Clarence House also again said, yes, she's going to be the princess
I
consort.
remember that. Yeah.
And now I see all these people, oh, but they've suffered. And I'm like, what did they suffer?
Well, here's my take on that, because I have mentioned that a couple of times and I've gotten heat from it. I've mentioned that a couple of times recently because of the invitations that were sent out. And my only point in bringing it up is it's facts, and I think that facts are important. That's actually what happened. What you just recited is true. B, we are living in such a difficult time in the world where we don't trust our politicians, we don't trust our media, and we don't like being lied to. And I'm bringing it up because A, it's the truth, but B, I don't like being lied to. And if you look at King Charles's history, I think the ultimate objective was always to have her be queen. And that's fine. But just why tell us she's going to be princess consort? If that was your ultimate objective and that was what you were planning on doing all along, then why release that
Because he knew people wouldn't accept the marriage as it was. They barely accept Camilla right now. I don't refer to her as queen. If anything, I will refer to her as princess consort, at the most. For real, But I want to ask you something. By the way, you are in the know, so you know more than we do. And let me tell you an experience I had yesterday.
Okay.
I wake up yesterday to the thing that Meghan and Harry are not coming to the Harry's coming, Meghan is not coming to the coronation, and there's an official statement by Buckingham Palace. So I immediately, when they say an official statement by Buckingham Palace, there is an official statement. You can go to their website. You can even see it.
I did that. You left this comment on my Instagram. I went to their website as soon as I saw that comment. There is no official statement from Buckingham Palace. There's no official statement on Archwell's website about Harry attending.
I don't. Where are people getting that on Archwell? They even made me go to Archwell, which I didn't want to go because they referenced the bloody
You're like, oh my God, I just accepted cookies. They know I'm here. They know I'm here. I'm on some list now. Well, I believe that was a conversation that was had between one or two news outlets that dominoed. But you're right. An official statement does not exist, and it certainly doesn't exist for public consumption. However, I think if it were not true by now, they would be pitching a fit. Harry and Meghan would be pitching a fit. They have a couple of outlets that they love to work with, specifically People Magazine and Page Six. And while I don't visit People Magazine very often, I am a religious reader of Page Six, and they already have quotes from Meghan's friends about how Meghan saw the hypocrisy and if she were to attend the event, and that's why she's sitting this one out. So the fact that Page Six has a quote from a friend explaining why Meghan's not coming versus Meghan insisting that they hadn't made a decision yet, it's interesting because I do think that they would push back on this if it weren't true. And it's been 24 hours and they haven't pushed back on it yet. Also, Omid Scobie, Meghan Markle's boyfriend, also announcing that Meghan will not be attending. So that's another reason that I'm pretty confident in that story.
But they've had issues. Remember how Omid Scobie said that Meghan Markle got that famous training, and then Harry said that Meghan didn't?
Right. No, I definitely think that they had, I wouldn't describe it as a falling out, but there were months where you could tell he was left in the cold. And for some reason, he seems to be back in the fold a little bit more, and somebody is giving him intel again.
Can you tell me, Lindsay, what do you think is going to happen? I don't, one thing I was watching today is like, if there are children and it's the child's birthday, I mean, we know Meghan Markle has isolated completely both sides of her family in the States, right? Tyler Perry does not have children.
Oh, wait, he
doesn't have children.
Tyler does, yeah.
He does?
Yeah.
I thought he was gay.
Oh, he has I don't know if it's a little boy or a girl, but he did have I think it might be a little boy. I'd have to confirm. I don't think that he is married, but I do believe he has a partner and they have a child.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But my point is, she doesn't have very many friends. Or I don't know, but for me, if my child, you come and the grandpa is the king.
The first argument you would make is the fact that why was it okay to have Lily's birthday party at Frogmore during the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, but for some reason we're going to stay in America and have Archie's at the Burger King in Montecito versus going and having one last hurrah at Frogmore. Here's my thing. If Meghan didn't want to show up to the coronation, I understand. I did not think that either one of them should necessarily be there after the way that they've behaved. But I don't understand sending Harry off to deal with the consequences of both of their actions by himself. She could fly over with him and the kids, stay at Frogmore, have one last hurrah in the home that they're being evicted from, and support him in what is undoubtedly going to be a very chaotic day. But instead, she stays home in California to throw a party at the Chuck E. Cheese down the street. It makes absolutely no sense to me. And I think you and I both think that the real reason she's sitting this one out is because she does not want to be embarrassed. She doesn't want the booing. She doesn't want all the nasty headlines. She doesn't want everybody to notice that she only cries out of her left eye strategically. You know, she's afraid that stock's going to go up in IKEA candlesticks after she's placed strategically behind one. You know, I think that she just doesn't want all that talk happening. But at the same time, similar to Prince Philip's funeral, I do wonder if she'll pull a stunt like, oh, that wreath is from Meghan Markle. That is from Meghan. Those fireworks are from Meghan Markle. You know, like what is she going to do? I don't know.
Maybe they will hire her to be one of those commentators for the royal. You never know.
I know. I mean, that girl loves CBS. I've never seen CBS get so much love from somebody like Harry, who literally released a statement about how horrible CBS was because they were the only American outlet to show pictures of his mother dying in her vehicle. He gives them so much, between the Late Show with James Corden to the other guy that's on there with dark hair to Gayle King. They rally around CBS for some reason.
Do you think that Meghan chose not to come? Let's not forget that these people got an NAACP award for fighting racism in the institution, right?
Oh, that was the Robert F. Kennedy. That was the Ripple of Hope.
For that?
Yeah, Robert F. Kennedy Ripple of Hope Award for fighting racism within the royal family. Yeah.
But do you think she's using that angle? She's gonna say, because, okay, I don't know about you, but I think she's already filming the second thing or recording the second thing of Archetypes.
She is, yeah, that's happening right now.
And I believe that she is doing the Netflix thing. I don't think she's going to stop at this. I think they're going to do another one at this slight, how slighted they were about Meghan's, this whole chaos. Because I had actually a friend of mine who told me that apparently one of the demands was to have Doria and Meghan come. And it wasn't granted.
I hadn't heard Doria before, but I had heard about several demands. I had heard that they wanted a spot on the balcony. I had heard that they wanted to dress in the same style as William and Catherine, whether that be day hat, tiara, uniform, etc. I'd heard that they wanted some sort of acknowledgement, or what could we do for Archie's birthday, which I just thought that has got to be fake. That's so ludicrous. You know, that it's a 4-year-old, like he doesn't even know it's his birthday. But I had not heard about Doria. But when you talk about the accepting a racism award, continuing with the victimhood narrative, the source that spoke to Page 6 that has contacts with Meghan did acknowledge that everything Meghan has said about the family, everything she, has said that's been critical of the family, and I would include the racism allegations under that Meghan realized it would reflect poorly on her for her to show up and celebrate and be in the big fat middle of the party. And so I did interpret this as, she might look like a hypocrite, specifically with those racism allegations. How can you say that these people, which don't forget that Harry told us that they never said that. We put that in their mouth, even though she literally says that on Oprah Winfrey. She says that her children were not given titles because of their skin color. I do think that she is maybe trying to look like the victim in that quote to Page 6, like, I've been so wronged. How could I go back? But And I do think she's going to continue with those types of conversations with Archetype season 2. And so funny, I just went back and watched some of my footage from when they were when they first got the deal with Spotify. Paula, do you remember how they told us that they were going to use that Spotify podcast to elevate normal, regular people? I said in an interview, I know that they're saying that, but I think they're going to call like Tyler Perry, Brene Brown, some of their celebrity friends. That's exactly what they've done. Where are the normal people that she was going to elevate in her podcast?
I mean, I know, but and you know what really, it really baffles me that people still buy her bullshit. I'm sorry, but it's true. I just don't get it. You know, if it walks like a duck, it looks like a duck, and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. But you know, with that reasoning that you're saying that Meghan doesn't want to go back because she would look like a hypocrite for being so wrong, how can her husband go back to that family, to that institution, to celebrate this institution that caused so much harm to his darling wife? I wouldn't. Can you imagine your husband or your fiance going back to, let's say, I don't know, you work at Sizzlers, you know, and Sizzlers, they treat you badly. They're horrible to the point that you want to end your life. And
Okay,
do you
well,
think
first
your
of all,
fiance is going to go back there and say, "Oh, I love Sizzler. I'm going to be here. I'm going to celebrate Sizzler"? Don't you
shout
think
out.
that sounds weird? That looks weird.
I think we have to shout out Sizzler because don't forget that that's where Meghan had her $4.99 salad bar lunches when she
Of
wrote to
course.
Congress about her poor upbringing in basically Beverly Hills. But I agree. I think it's like 100% shameless. Exclamation point in all caps, underline a million times. But I think you would agree with me that the Sussex brand, at least in the States, seems to be on life support. Their poll numbers, their likability numbers are crumbling. And they have been since the release of Spare, since the Netflix series. And these were strategic puzzle pieces that Meghan was in control of, because for her PR efforts. These are Meghan's public relation efforts to build their American brand, to monetize their American brand. And these huge moves between the Netflix series and the book had the opposite effect. People dislike them. They don't trust them. They think they're entitled. They think they complain too much. I think that Harry needs the connection to the royal family. He needs to continue to be associated
More
with them.
footage.
He needs more footage, but in any way, shape, or form. So people like Barack Obama might pick up the phone when he calls and he needs a favor, or people like, I just think that somebody in Harry's position doesn't get the type of jobs he's getting in San Francisco as the whatever officer without big contacts. And those big contacts are thanks to his DNA, not because of anything he's accomplished in his life.
No, I mean, I totally agree with you, but I mean, I know a lot of people are saying, thank God Meghan is not coming, right? Because she was afraid of the boos. But why isn't Harry being booed? He is the one who's the traitor.
Right. Well, I think he will be too. But I do think the anger would have increased with her by his side.
You think?
I do. I think that he might receive less of a negative response with her there. Is he still going to get a negative reaction? I think so. But the two of them together, because a lot of people do think that she is the instigator. And although he is the one that's really put it all out there. A lot of them consider Meghan the instigator. So I think the two of them walking up together would be like,
I actually, I have to walk back something I said because I was thinking about it. I usually get very fired up and sometimes I shoot at my mouth before it. But now I've been thinking about it. I'm not denying any responsibility to that ginger idiot. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is the following. Because I actually did a video. I was looking at when Harry says in the book that when he first hooked up with Meghan Markle, she was wearing black sweaters, jeans, and killer heels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I started doing that. Wait a minute. I I know she was with Corey still in July, early July, right?
Why is this
And I
not
went,
brought up more?
and I
Why
went,
is this
and then
not
I
brought
went,
up more?
and then I watched. If you see the comments, I'm dyslexic, so if you see a comment that you want to put, just go for it, Kinsey. Okay. And then I went and watched the engagement interview, which was November 27th. And then Meghan said that they had a good 5 to 6 months prior to their whatever it was called being public, which was on October 31st, 2016 on Halloween, which is very apt since this is a horror story. So that means that late April, early April, late April, they were together. And her agent, her former agent said that in June 2016, she went to meet Meghan Markle at a hotel room somewhere in Canada. And Corey opened the door and she was coming out wearing a towel, looking naturally beautiful. Remember that article?
Yes, I do. No, I wonder why this is not a bigger story. And also just in regards to what she's wearing, if you watch some special that they made right after her wedding, she's there's this really cringe scene of her where they're creating her veil, or no, they're just looking over her veil, and she's like, I'm looking for this piece of blue fabric. It's from the dress I wore on my first date with Harry. But I only say it's cringe because the woman accidentally interrupts her, and Meghan makes sure to repeat the exact same line from start to finish, clearly in case they need to cut that for the commercial. Like, she stops and then completely restarts the entire sentence because she wants to make sure they got clean audio of that. And so it's like, there's no sincerity there.
But that's actually pretty terrible. You in the United States? You have the pulse to the news in the United States, okay? What is the overall feeling with the Hollywood A-list crowd about Harry and Meghan Markle? And about her not being invited to the or not attending the coronation? Are people going off saying, oh, this racist pigs? And
no, well, I think it was Mia Farrow. Did you see this tweet? She deleted it quickly this morning, but Mia Farrow.
Who did that?
Mia Farrow, who is, a Hollywood icon. Yeah, tweeted, here's my unkind thought of the day. I'm getting a little tired of Harry and Meghan, and immediately deleted it because of some pushback she was getting. But I'd say that really encompasses kind of the feelings. And I think I've told you before, I've been to the salon where people will be like, yeah, my dad worked at Paramount for 30 years. I've never heard of her. I wouldn't know her if I passed her on the street. Like, I don't think that, I think we all were like, wow, they're coming to Hollywood. They're going to get so much attention. Think of all the opportunities. Those don't exist. It's like you said, Meghan has a very small circle, and that small circle is really limited, not only in birthday party friends for Archie, but that small circle is really limited in opportunities. Ellen DeGeneres and Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry can only do so much for you. Realistically, you have got to meet with new people, open new doors, let new people in. And she is hard to get along with. If you read people that work with her, she is difficult to get along with. I mean, I think it goes without saying she will never work with Liz. I'm spacing on the last name, but the woman that produced her Netflix series, Garbus. That's probably incredibly wrong, but she won't work with the woman that produced her Netflix series again because they clashed. Harry talks about in Spare about people sobbing at their desks that worked for them like it's a normal
but
thing.
he thinks because they were suffering for them as well.
But I just think she's hard to get along with. And so I think she's limited her opportunities for herself in creating good content here because nobody really wants to work with them.
Why do you think that Oprah, Tyler, because Liz Garbus, thank you, Alke, you're amazing. Why do you think Tyler protects her so much? Or, this man is absolutely, he had never heard of Meghan Markle. I don't understand why he didn't offer her. Oh, thank you, Meghan Small. Thank you so very much, sweetie. I don't understand why he never offered Meghan his palatial home when she was getting in the trunk of the car, through the trunk of her car, looking for auditions. Or when she was a struggling actress that she had to fly over the Atlantic to see if she could start in a reality show.
I really just think that she wasn't on anybody's radar. She really did not exist to people until that was my thing about her getting this new award, this women's award, the Women of the Year award. I'm like, yo, she's getting an award because she married a prince. Well, what does she do for women? I mean, it's kind of insane. This is somebody that nobody acknowledged until she got married to a man,
The feminist.
I just don't think that really anybody knew unless you're the guy from 90210 in the car in scene 1. I don't think you knew who Meghan Markle was in Hollywood.
But this is the thing that I don't get. Why this award? I never heard of Miss Foundation. Is it a big place, a big thing over there? Because I never heard of it.
I've never heard of it either. Gloria Steinem is somehow associated with it. And this is my whole thing about Meghan and Harry and their all the money we looked at some tax information, all of the money they've invested in PR. I had a couple of people say, is all of this PR because she plans to be president one day? I don't think that that's even remotely likely. Would she want to do that? Perhaps. But I do think that starting with Sunshine Sachs, and they learn from Sunshine Sachs, you partner with these major public relations entities who have clients and friends of clients. And Tom Bauer talks about specifically how Sunshine Sachs would pick up the phone, call some of these B-list celebrities and say, hey, would you mind defending Meghan Markle on Twitter? Jamil, whatever. I've gone out of my way not to learn her name because she gets on my nerves so much. She was on Meghan's podcast the first season. She was on some show with Kristen Bell. She's always crapping on the Kardashians just for a headline. She was one of the first people to start speaking out for Meghan Markle, and Tom Bauer alludes to the fact that happened between a Sunshine Sachs connection. Yeah.
This is the girl that this lady, this very famous lady, she killed herself. And
Caroline Flack, who I love. Yes, Caroline Flack, who I absolutely, she went after Caroline and Caroline's pilot, which Caroline did not.
And she contacted Piers Morgan asking him to help her against that Camille, I don't know what her name is.
Absolutely, yes, that's exactly who it is.
Is that the same woman?
Yes, it is. Like attracts like in the universe, bullies. Anyway, so they learned through Sunshine Sachs apparently, and this is Tom Bauer is the one that brought this to our attention, that Sunshine Sachs would pick up the phone and call clients and say, hey, would you mind, speaking out for Harry and Meghan? Would you mind, just tweeting something, saying something in an interview really quick? Yeah, I know Meghan, she's great. And I do think that we're continuing to see that, even strategically down to this relationship with Gloria, who Meghan spoke to for, I believe it was a Vogue interview. And then Meghan is now being given this award by her. So, and you look at Sunshine Sachs clients are the RFK Ripple of Hope Award. That's a Sunshine Sachs client. So the fact that Harry and Meghan were given this award by them, highly suspicious. NAACP, these are also Sunshine Sachs clients. None of this is sincere. It's all bought press, and it is a strategic partnership. The NAACP is saying, oh my God, look at all of the headlines we could get if we bring Harry and Meghan to the show. Oh my God, all of a sudden we're talking about the Ripple of Hope Award, something that I had never heard of until Harry and Meghan were given this award. So these award shows or these charities are thinking, we're going to get butts and seats at $5,000 a pop, which is going to make up for the fact that we're just literally handing this award to somebody that doesn't deserve it, because the between the PR and the people that want to maybe breathe the same oxygen as a royal, they'll pay to sit in the same room with Prince Harry,
It's actually quite disturbing if you think about it. It's actually very disturbing if you think about it, because I was thinking,
because I've been thinking a lot about this. Why do you think she wasn't invited? Do you think she was ever invited? Do you think it was that she was told, no, you can't have this, and she threw a tantrum? Do you think she's planning to do something? Because we know one thing, our Mexi doesn't like the spotlight to be on anybody else but her. Do you think she'll do something to release a video or hold a live or whatever for that?
Well, something's going on with your mic really quick. So I'm just going to repeat your question in my answer in case anybody had a hard time hearing you. Will she do? First of all, I do actually think she was invited because the palace, because Archwell acknowledged that Harry and Meghan received an email invitation from the king. So, I mean, unless Archwell is lying, they did initially tell us that both Harry and Meghan were invited to attend the coronation. Do I think she'll do something to distract from it? I kind of do. You know, there have been whispers around town that she's relaunching the TIG. So might she relaunch the TIG around the coronation and pump out all this new content? So instead of us focusing on the coronation, we're talking about her lasagna recipe or whatever it is. Do I think she would release a picture of Prince Archie? Yes, absolutely. We haven't seen him in years. You know, it's proof of life for some of us. And it might be her way of distracting. And then I also have joked that she's going to do, you know, like a Beverly Hills walkabout. Like all of a sudden she ends up on Rodeo Drive with paparazzi in tow. So I would not be surprised if something like that happened. But, you know, I throw it back to Prince Philip's funeral where we magically hear that Rue, stop. He's harassing his sister. We magically hear that Meghan has sent a wreath there, it just seemed kind of irrelevant and out of place at the time to just randomly be notified that one of the wreaths in the building was from Meghan Markle. I can see something like that, very similar happening.
Well, yeah, probably. But do you think that?
I didn't answer this that you just asked previously. Do I think that something happened to make her stay home? Like she was not given something. I think that that's absolutely a possibility, that she was told no, or she didn't like they've talked about a ping pong game of negotiations to get Harry there. So absolutely, I'm sure that maybe she did consider it originally, and when she was told no one too many times, probably thought not worth it for me.
Do you think that? You know, the thing is that it's very hard because for her, she needs to be the center of attention, and it's really hard to imagine she could pass this up.
Oh, I know.
Even if she gets booed, you know, because she does have her crazy people who back her up no matter what. She has that Dr. Shula, or all those people, Ngozi Fulani, you know, all these crazy, even Tessa Dunlop. You know,
oh, Tessa, I feel bad for Tessa. I get along with Tessa, though. Poor Tessa. I don't think she wants to be in the same boat as Dr. Scholl.
But she is actually very aggressive.
Well, I mean, I communicate with her differently, but I think it's because I'm an American. But I don't know. I mean, I definitely agree with you. I absolutely thought that here's where I turned, because I was on team Meghan is not showing up for a solid 2 or 3 months. Where I changed my mind was when Meghan went out with some friends on International Women's Day with her Chanel. And in her glasses, you could see the one paparazzi that she likely called herself or had one of her people call. That is when I changed my mind about her showing up. And I thought, oh, she's looking for attention right now. Surely she'll be at the coronation. And that's when I started to say, yeah, I think they're both going to be there because they need the royal family more than the royal family needs them. And I guess maybe Harry is just kind of the replacement, or Harry is the substitute, because at the end of the day, yes, Harry and Meghan need the royal family more than the royal family needs them. Harry will get a ton of attention. even without Meghan. We're going to be judging his facial expressions. I still remember some big sighs he took at Prince Philip's funeral. Like, I remember the body language, the way he was tapping the pamphlet on his leg nervously. Like, we're going to watch him. We're going to watch his body language. So Harry is still going to distract a little bit from the coronation, even without Meghan. But I do think, I would hope Harry would be there for the duty aspect. I would hope he would be there to support his father. But I think he's probably there a lot because he needs the association.
Do you think she'll show up? I saw that comment. Do you think she'll show up? What if she changes her mind and suddenly shows up?
I would not be surprised, because I think that that's a game they like to play, like Prince Harry showing up at court randomly a few weeks ago. I do think that they love to be in control, and they and I would also say, if they think they'd throw the palace off in that scenario, they wouldn't, because the palace has planned a coronation with Harry, a coronation with Harry and Meghan, and a coronation without them both. So even if Harry opts not to show up in some sort of power move, you're not going to see an empty seat. You're not going to see an empty row. You're not going to know where he was supposed to be. It's going to run seamlessly. But yeah, I do think that there's a weird control element where they like to surprise the public and the media, and they would do it just to show us.
There seems to be a problem with the audio. Let me just stay on. Let me see if I can refresh this. We hopefully will go, but just stay on, because we're all going to go in.
Hi, am I alone with you? Let's see. Let me move this and see if I can see. Well, even the coronation will have seat fillers. Elizabeth, can I just go ahead? Hi, Queenie Morris. Hi, can I just say that I would like to volunteer? Hi, Karen, as a seat filler. Let's see. Hi, Deborah. What does GOAT mean? Greatest of all time, I believe. I know. I wondered what was going on with her. Oh my gosh, is she okay? So the pregnant again comment that Cynthia asked, I did ask an astrologer this, and she said, I asked an astrologer if Meghan would, this is weeks ago, maybe months ago, I asked an astrologer, will Meghan show up to the coronation pregnant? And she said that she does see a third child in Harry and Meghan's future, but she could not tell me whether or not it was going to happen at the coronation. And I said that Harry said that they would stop at 2. So that was confusing to me, although they flip-flop on everything. And she said, well, maybe they would adopt, who knows? But I did ask about the pregnancy thing because I was curious of that too. I thought, what a way to steal the show, which I could, hi, Abby H. I will be in London with GB News. I get there on the 1st, and I will be there for a week. Hi, Emma J. Thank you so much. Hi, Laura Miller. Wait, Karen, what are you talking about? Twins? Oh, tell me. Okay, divorce would steal the show. My astrologer had a lot to say about that too. She said she sees it in 2 years. Don't quote me. I try not to put that out there because I think it's kind of mean-spirited, but she does say that that could be on the horizon. And I only just asked my astrologer because it's fun. I don't, it's fun. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Effie, Hollywood really doesn't know anything about the pregnancies. Well, specifically with Archie, that was Meghan was on tour for a portion of it, but I don't think that Hollywood was following them as closely then. For Lily, it was COVID, so we really didn't see any of her. I don't really think that I mean, honestly, we see so little of the kids that we don't talk about the kids. It's almost like they don't exist, because we see so little of them and they don't really share much about them. But wouldn't it be just like Meghan to show up? Yes, Maggie. Absolutely. Harry's second wife will fit in better with the royal family, says Deborah. That's savage. Did People magazine say she was pregnant a while back? I would have to look at that. But if she did, I would tell you that to be suspicious of that, because I do think that People magazine is one of the outlets that Harry and Meghan feel really comfortable working with, as well as I've seen their friends give quotes to the New York Post, Page 6. And I also saw recently Meghan have a friend respond to one of my stories in the Mirror, which I thought was wild, since I think they're currently suing the Mirror. Do you think Charles and William will welcome Harry back if Meghan decides to divorce? Do you think he will be a working royal like he was pre-Meghan? That's an interesting question. I do think that, wow, I think it would take some time, but I do think that they would be, I do think that they would consider it. I think that they would be really kind about it, because I imagine that if that were to come to fruition, Harry would be a very broken man, and both Charles and William have a soft spot for that Harry, who I think that they've seen in the past. Do I think that the king will take their titles? Duchess of Dub asks. I don't know. I honestly really don't know. I think that could have and maybe should have happened a while ago. And so I'm really torn about that. It's like, what could they do in retaliation if he did take their titles? I don't know. I mean, what are you worried about? Just do it. They are literally using it to destroy the credibility of the monarchy. Harry could have a role, but will never be trusted again, says Nadine. That's a great point. I thought I saw something else. Let me see here. That was a really good question. Let me see. Do I think Harry will go to?
Hello.
Hi, welcome back.
Kinsey, sorry about that. It's just that there was an issue here with the router. Sorry about that, Kinsey. Thank you for being such a sport. Have you been entertaining the people?
I think so. Elizabeth wants to know if I was disappointed that I was not in the Netflix documentary. Can I just say I was not, because I saw so many of my friends in the Netflix documentary, and I was terrified when I was watching it. I was so afraid that there was gonna be like a soundbite of me saying something, and so I was glad I was not involved in it. I was happy that I was not. They didn't use any footage of me, but you know what?
Did you see that they included Shallon Lester, and Shallon Lester is now suing them?
Yeah, get it, girl. I saw that. I did, and my friend, I could hear just one of my friends, Patrick Christie's, and I was like, oh my god, because they used his voice a little bit, but I think I have been. Here, I'll tell you when I just kind of flipped a switch, and I was like, before I tried to speak from a PR perspective, and I tried to make everything, about a brand and business oriented. And yes, I understand. I would understand why they would do that, because it elevates their brand. Or yes, strategic partnerships. That's what they're doing with Oprah. Blah blah blah. But when I just kind of had it with them, and my tone changed, and I became a little sassier in my communication, is when I found out that the Queen had tried to see them days before she died, and they rejected that invitation. And I'll tell you why: because they thought they were hot. Can I curse? Can I say a bad word?
Yeah, fuck okay. Yeah.
They thought they were hot shit. They went over to the UK so Meghan could accept her award, and so they could do this little charity event, and they were doing their own little royal tour. That, you know, they were doing their own little royal cosplay. And so, no, they weren't going to see the Queen because they had to prove to the world that they didn't need the royal family. So they reject a woman on her deathbed. Meanwhile, this whole time, the Queen is dying of bone cancer and Meghan is doing fake curtsies in front of a Netflix camera. And then showed up to cry out of one eye. You know, that is when I was done with them.
But also, let me tell you something, Harry, and you know what really infuriates me is the press. How Harry was heartbroken. He didn't get to say goodbye to his grandmother. He could have gone on Wednesday when she asked him to.
Well, and
he had a day off in the UK.
Well, not only that, but he pitched a nasty fit that they did not want Meghan at Balmoral. Pitched a nasty fit. This is not the time or place. This is not the time or place. It is not about you. It's not about her right now. This is about, I mean, I think that they were kind to include him because at that point in time, he'd already told them that he didn't want to be involved anymore. He wanted an out. So the fact that they called and said, do you want to come to, you know, do you want to come? Do you want to experience this with your family? I thought was really generous of them because they had already done the Oprah interview. They already knew that they couldn't trust these people. At the time, we hadn't even seen the book or the Netflix documentary yet. We had only seen the Oprah interview, which was, I thought, pretty devastating at the time. And so for him to pitch a fit over them not wanting Meghan there when Catherine wasn't even going to be there, it's just so bizarre. And again, it shows me that sense of entitlement and not only lack of respect for the monarchy, but a lack of respect for your elders. You know, he's your father. He's an older man. You know, respect that, you know, that I'm reading in Robert Jobson's book that he had a curse out fight with his dad over not financing Meghan's wardrobe, not wanting to pay for Meghan's lifestyle. You're a 30-year-old man. Have respect for your dad. I mean, it's just human. I think it's common sense, but apparently it's not.
Well, yeah, but also I wonder if this is just me, but I wonder if anybody from the royal family has really met the little girl.
You know, there's no documentation that we know of Lily meeting the Queen. All we got were the leaked stories that Harry and Meghan were upset that the Queen wouldn't allow their photographer, who we now know was with Netflix, to document the Queen meeting Lily. So I don't know if or who has met Lily. I really don't. You're right. You're absolutely right. Maybe none of them have. I think I might have read that Charles met her during the Jubilee, but I'm not 100% sure.
No, they only talk about the Queen, and then that they said that they had a birthday party for Lily there, but
and no one was invited to it. That none of his family were invited to it. Okay.
I mean, I wonder if she'll ever come back to the UK. Do you think that there is a chance? Do you think that, okay, I'm trying to put things in my head that makes sense. Do you think that with her not going to the coronation, that she cares at all? Or do you think that she feels, I got what I want, I got the titles for me and my kids. Harry has served this purpose? Because for her not to attend a coronation, which is a pretty historical moment on Earth right now, it's like for her to say, I don't care. Oh my goodness. For her to say, like, I don't care. I should pull City up so you're not the only one with a dog. But it's like, because I believe that Meghan is like a psychopath, and this is just my opinion, that she doesn't care anymore because she's got what she wanted. So for her, the monarchy has given her what she always wanted. So she doesn't need them anymore, and she feels secure in her, because she sees that Sarah Ferguson still has the title.
Mm-hmm.
Her kids have titles.
Yes.
In her mind, she has contacts, and in her mind, she's more important than Harry, because remember, you usually get the less important person at the very end. When she did the Oprah, there were like 60 minutes of Meghan Markle straight on and 30 of Harry.
Yeah. Well, I have a question for you. Do you
Uh-huh.
think she wouldn't show up because she's embarrassed that she was caught in a lie, that her son was not given a title because of his race, and now everybody sees that actually your son wasn't given a title because Charles was not king yet? Upon Charles becoming king, that was up for debate. Your son has a title, you got what you wanted, and you lied on international television in front of everybody. Could she be embarrassed that she was caught in a lie, and that's why she's not showing up?
I don't think so. I don't think she's capable of embarrassment. No, really, Kinsey, look at it this way. Um, she has been caught in so many lies, and she just gaslights her way out of it. She
I
really
know.
does not care. It's like you catch her in a lie, and it's like, so what?
Right.
And it's so infuriating dealing with people like that, because you would think, like, if I were you or if it were me, you were like, oh, I'm so sorry, you caught me in a lie. Oh shit, I feel embarrassed. But Meghan Markle, you catch her in a lie, and she's like, so what? And
Yeah.
instead
Well,
she gives you that mean girl vibe. It's like, so what?
right. I mean, I think you could be absolutely correct that, she doesn't even acknowledge that well, just to
It's
throw
her
it back,
truth.
just her truth, exactly. But also, that the defiance in Harry when he said that no one had ever called his family racists. Obviously, their ability to lie is pretty effortless, right? I mean, that
Well,
was
they lie to themselves.
yeah, clearly, they do. But I I think at the end of the day, you might be right. She has everything she needs. There's no reason to put any more effort in. She just might be like, I don't need to put any more effort in. I have the title. I'm going to use the hell out of it. Even while I'm writing to Congress or picking up the phone and calling political personalities. Hi, this is Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. Like, what? What? I think that she has the title. She has the fame. She has the money. I think that they want more money. I think
Do
money.
you think
They're
she has
very
the
money.
money? Do you really think she has the money? Because I've heard from Netflix, somebody who works at Netflix and who was involved in that they don't have $100 million.
I have said multiple times, I think that they made hundreds of thousands of dollars for that one series, but I don't think they made hundreds of millions of dollars for that series. Yeah, okay, that's interesting, because that's what I thought too. I mean, I think they have enough money to live comfortably. I think that every one of their 16 bathrooms probably has that good toilet paper with aloe vera on it for sure. They're not eating ramen, but I do think that they're money driven and they want more and more and more. And, you know,
Well,
hope.
that mansion is it takes up a lot of money. That the mansion alone takes up a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, but um, we have heard over the last few months that she's looking at other homes, better homes in bigger neighborhoods, staying up in that elite area. But obviously she's got an expensive taste, and I do think that they have become money driven. I think she's always maybe been money driven, but I do hope that they transition from financing their entire lifestyle on kind of ripping apart her husband's family to whatever else they're capable of doing. I mean, is it going to be rom-coms for Netflix? Probably not. But they've got to shift their storyline, because the Americans specifically are so tired of it. They don't care. It's champagne problems.
Yeah, but yeah, that is true. That is true. In California, when you get divorced, you are entitled Harry would have to keep her to the lifestyle she's become accustomed to, right?
Yeah, it's split down the middle. Yes.
So, but for example, let's say he doesn't have very much money. Let's say that he doesn't have that much cash. He would still have to support her. In the house that they have, the lifestyle that she has, if he doesn't have that much cash, right?
Yeah. If they were to divorce. But you know what? I don't think that would even, that is when things get so weird, because I have thought about this for years. Do I think William and the king would ever have him back? Yes, I do think they would have him back if he was alone. I don't think they would ever take him back with Meghan. If they were to split, I do think they would welcome him back. Maybe not fully, maybe not trusting him all the way, but I do think they would sympathize with him. They would feel really bad for him, especially maybe Charles, because he's experienced divorce before. He knows how ugly and sad it can be. I think that the family would pay for her to go away if they ever separated, because they just would want her out of their hair. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think that they would restrict her from using the title?
That's
You
a
know that
hard
they
one.
can, right?
That's a hard one, because Fergie gets to keep hers. And something
Yeah,
was
but
stuck in her toes.
Fergie's not American. Fergie's British.
That's true. That's true.
I
That's a
don't
good point.
understand why the Americans are not angrier at Meghan Markle using a royal title to lobby for Congress or the Congress people, Senate people. I mean, what's happening with you guys?
I completely agree. I don't understand that at all either. And I'm surprised that Congress doesn't make a bigger stink about it and go, who does she think she is? You know, it's not that she's an actress.
It's because she's very tight with the Bidens, isn't she?
Yeah, I want to say yes. I think they would say yes. But in reality, I don't know I think that if they picked up the phone and called, the Biden family would answer. But I also think that a lot of the Obamas specifically, I feel like they realize that Harry and Meghan are untrustworthy, a little problematic, and are trying to distance themselves. You know, what Harry and Meghan proved with not only the Oprah interview, but the Netflix special is like loose lips sink ships, and these two can't keep secrets. So I do think that people are aware of that and do distance. People that are smart are certainly distancing themselves and aren't as chummy as they once were with them.
Do you think, I was going to ask you, do you think that people are going that Catherine is sighing relief now that Meghan is not coming? You know what? I really do think, but this is just my opinion, that the palace already knew that she was not going to come. They just didn't want to release that information.
I agree. I agree that this is something that's been known for a while. I saw a clip today, and I don't want to be controversial because I really like him. I really like him. I really like Tom Bauer a lot, but I saw a clip today of Tom saying that Catherine is the reason Meghan's not going to be at the coronation. And while that is a very fun headline, it is wildly fun. I don't think that Catherine is that mean-spirited. And I really, you know, I'm sure that when she found out Meghan wasn't coming, she thought, whew, good. All right. Now I can be comfortable. But I don't think that Catherine was whispering in anybody's ear, she's not welcome. She can't come. She's not allowed to be here. And I just think that because that's not in her nature, she is above that. She's above that. I just think, you know, Catherine's here, Meghan's here, and she just doesn't deal with the drama. So I love Tom Bauer. I get a kick out of him. I've read his book 3 or 4 times, but that is one story that I have a very hard time digesting.
Yeah, I don't buy that, you know, and I find, you know what, why it's so annoying, because we look towards the journalists to actually do journalistic work, you know, and it really bothers me when somebody says something, when People Magazine says something, and it's Meghan's thing, and then everybody, it's like a done deal.
Yeah, no, and that is a lot. I just had this conversation with somebody else. A lot of that has become the nature of the business. You know, the people that are writing for a lot of these entertainment sites, and you'll know this because you've experienced a little bit of the entertainment world. The people that are writing for these entertainment websites are getting paid like $15, $25 an hour, whatever. and told that they have to write like 8 stories an hour. So what they're doing is they're going to the Daily Express, they're going to People Magazine, they're going to Daily Mail, they're looking for the word exclusive, they're looking up royal exclusive, and then they are writing because they've got to hit their quota. They've got to get the 8 stories up in an hour or they're fired that day. So they're not doing their due diligence. They're not calling and trying to get it triple sourced. They're not calling to confirm that person. That was my biggest thing when I first started doing this. I was being misquoted, and I would say to my friends, why is this person that's repeated this quote not calling to get an original quote from me or to make sure that's what I said? Because taken out of context, every day it happens to me where I open up something and I go, I did not say that shit. But
I know, I see some stuff and and then I go and back and listen to you and I'm like, she didn't say that.
Thank you. Oh my God.
No,
So, I think I want to say I think that like, that's I think it's crazy to expect somebody to write 8 stories in an hour and for such little amounts of money. I want to say it's lazy, but I also know that these people are given very unrealistic goals. And so I can't imagine being in their position and having to pump out that kind of content. But I do think that that's why it happens, because they're being told you got to get 20 stories up in the next few hours. And so they're just going to the Express and just rewording the same Express article and rewording. They're not calling to make sure Meghan is actually doing this or that. And that's why I understood your point. You were saying, I cannot find the source. There is no official press release on Harry attending. Could you just tell me what the source is? And in reality, 1 or 2 people were given information in a WhatsApp or via a phone call to reporters. And then there was the domino effect.
Yeah, I actually called Buckingham Palace press office yesterday. I spent $11.41 because I used a phone app, and you have to top it up because I'm calling the UK, right?
Yeah.
And the very nice lady answered to me, and I said, well, you know what? I'm a YouTuber. I've heard that all the radio stations are saying, all the journalists it's all over the place that you guys have issued an official statement because they used the word official and they read as though they were quoting from this official statement. And trust me, and they even said it was an Archwell, and I'm like, I went to the bloody Archwell. It's not an Archwell. It's not an Archwell. So I don't know why people make up these lies. And then I don't know if they do that to make you go to their website, which increases their traffic, and it really bothers me. So I called and I said, I know I'm dyslexic, but I'm not that stupid, And the lady was very kind to me, and she said that we don't comment on the guest list on the attendees to the coronation for security reasons. She says that they don't make public official statements regarding the guest list or if their guests or the friends and family attending the coronation for security reasons. And I said, well, what do you mean you don't? It's all over the news, BBC saying that, and they're reading, and so they're reading it. They're not even saying sources at the palace. They're saying that the palace has released an official statement, and I'm not crazy. It's all over. And I even saw a couple of YouTubers put the clip, and then separately they put the Buckingham thing to give it like more of an official thing.
Right.
Because and you know what? I hate pandering. I hate it because they're playing with people's intelligence in that regards. And then I went and I did a live because I wanted to ask people, because I actually wanted that statement, the part where it says we're pleased.
Right. Yes.
And I'm like, and I said to the lady, listen, if you just don't want to give me the thing, just say so. But because I don't understand why you're giving me such a hard time if it's an official thing.
Yeah.
Thank you. And she said to me, I am not giving you a hard time, man, but I suggest that to phone those outlets that are stating we're saying that and ask them to give you a copy of that official statement. And I said, why don't you sue them? Because I was so angry. And the lady started laughing and she goes, if we were to sue every newspaper for anything that they say we say, I said, but this is different. It's an official statement. There's no pushback from you.
Yeah. Well, if and when I find out where the source is, I'm happy to share it with you. But I will say we do get emails regularly, and it'll be like, for instance, Okay, so for instance, the last one that I saw was for the emoji and the coronation route, and it'll say embargo until this time. So we have to hold on to that information until we are allowed to talk about it and share it. And that Harry announcement did not come through in the same forum. That was not something that was sent out to media. So I do think that, like I said before, I think that this was a conversation that happened in a WhatsApp chat, or perhaps it was a phone call between a reporter and somebody at the palace that had permission to share that information, and then the domino effect. But it did not come through the way other things like, here's our new coronation emoji, don't talk about it till tomorrow. It did not come through in that same way.
You know what I think happened? I think this is just completely, I think that the palace found out that Meghan was going to leak the story, or she was about to make an announcement, and they wanted to do it first.
I mean, absolutely. Or, was it the Telegraph that was one of the first people to, was it
People Magazine was the first one.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I actually did a screenshot because of when People Magazine published it, and then when BBC published it. So the People Magazine had like 4 hours already published. You can see when it was published, right? And then BBC had been published 38 minutes, and I did it at the same time.
Well, that's a very good observation then, because I was going to suggest if the Telegraph did it, the Telegraph
3 hours. They did it 3 hours. When I looked at the People Magazine, and then you look at the Telegraph, you can see the time, and it says 3 hours. 4 hours ago was released, and so you could see that the very first one was actually People Magazine.
Well, I do believe that they work pretty closely with People Magazine and the Telegraph in the UK. So those are two outlets that they have that conveniently leak things that are in their favor. So I absolutely think that's a really good observation.
I mean, I don't know. It's just that I've been looking, and again, the response from Buckingham Palace, because it was infuriating. The lady was very polite, I said to her,
they also typically will release the visual, which is the press release on the Buckingham Palace stationery, and so I haven't seen that at all. I don't think that even exists. So you're right. I mean, I don't know.
She actually told me the lady was really, really nice. I must say she was really, her accent was very posh. And she said to me, "Oh, what was it that she said? It will be in the Royal Diary section, or the press releases in our website. I can send you a link if you give me an email." And basically she didn't deny it, but she didn't say they did it either. But she did say if we had done it, it would be here.
Right.
And it's not there.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why these games are being played, because it belittles the reputation of the monarchy.
I would not even say, I mean, honestly, that was probably somebody that's paid minimum wage to answer phones. I don't even know if she would have been able to give you the answers you needed, because there are so many guards in front of the type of people you would need to talk to get a straight answer to that. You know what I mean? There are people in place to make sure that the people we want to talk to aren't bothered by people like us,
Yeah, but you didn't get any of that, and then something very interesting I saw later. It said that it went from Buckingham Palace released official statement then, and it went to, according to UK journalists, Buckingham Palace informed them that they were pleased, blah, blah, blah. So it changed. It went from Buckingham Palace released an official statement, and then it went to, according to the journalists, basically to these journalists. They changed the wording on that, but it really bothers me, Kinsey, that so much game playing, it takes away the cachet of the monarchy, of the coronation. If I had been King Charles, I would have said, you know what, Harry, I love you, you're my son, but you're not coming to the coronation, you're not going to be invited to any official events, but we're going to have a picnic or a barbecue at the castle, come afterwards, for a family dinner. I would have done that.
No, I get that. That was my attitude too. I felt like Harry and Meghan would be a negative distraction from the event. But at the same time, I'm like, well, if Harry's going to be there, how can Meghan leave him hanging? That's kind of crazy to me. But yeah, I think that where I really firmly agree with you is the idea of the will they, won't they lasted way too long. I mean, to the point where I was sick of answering that question every time I had a camera in my face. Will they go? And they go. I was like, I don't know. Have I already given you this answer before? How can I try to make it sound different? It was asked every single time I was on TV or doing a podcast, and I didn't care towards the end. I didn't care. I really, and I think that if Charles wants him there, then I'm glad he's going. But I do think that I think he's a toxic human being at this point. I think he's a negative entity, and he brings the family, and he brings his brother, and he brings his father. I think he brings them down. And until he finds his way in life, because I think he's extremely lost and bitter, until he finds his way in life, I wouldn't want to associate with him, because I think that he's so lost that he, like the Queen said he was so in love with Meghan that it clouded his judgment. I think he's so lost that it clouds his judgment. And I received a lot of criticism for condemning him for talking so openly about drug use, but statistically,
You did?
Yeah, and statistically, his family,
On that topic, let me tell you something. Now that I got you here, know that this is funny. One of my cousins is a sheriff in Westwood, in California, right in Los Angeles, in the posh area.
Well, give me a cell phone number in case I ever get in trouble. But yeah, okay.
Yes, Georgia. He was telling me, he's a dumb asshole, because if he's on a visa, because this is the confusion where it starts. People think that because in California smoking marijuana and other substances is legal, people like Harry who are on a visa think that because in this state it's legal, they are not breaking the law. But that's not the case.
Oh, really?
People with a visa are subject to federal law, not state law.
Whoa.
So I did a whole video about it. And I even read the law, and that's so funny, because my cousin said it to me. He goes, we the police always recommend, because this is the big confusion they have. Oh, it's legal in the state, but if you're a citizen, it's okay.
Yeah.
But if you are an immigrant or on a visa or anything, you are not subject to the same laws as U.S. citizens. So he's committing a crime, because in a federal state, even if it's illegal in one state, because it's federal law, then he is actually, when he wrote in the book that he was rolling joints in Tyler Perry's home while he was his family was sleeping, or whatever, the kid and the wife, it's like describing a crime and admitting to it, because he's not allowed to. And I don't understand why people are not calling him out for it, because actually that is a federal crime. Forget about whether he lied on the visa or not. That on the visa application, he's gone on every talk show talking about consuming drugs in U.S. soil while being on a visa.
So gross. Yeah, no, that's interesting. I thought he was only in jeopardy if he was caught in the act. So that's really interesting to me.
No, because he's admitted it. He's admitted it in writing.
I think the thing that really annoys me about the whole idea of the visa is in the process of trying to navigate how to discuss the immigration thing. You read that he has said he has no intention of becoming a citizen. Okay, well then stop trying to change my First Amendment, and don't come over here and think you're going to change the way we communicate on social media. If you have no desire to become a citizen, then what the hell are you doing? Hobnobbing with political figures and commenting on, the Constitution. If you don't want to be a permanent resident, then shut up and just, you live on the beach, get a tan, smoke your bowl, do whatever. But, stop trying to shake things up. If you disrespect our country so much that, you're going to change things and you don't want to, you don't want to be a citizen. It's just like he always says something and does something else. And I think the older you get, the more frustrating you get when you see that in public figures, because you're like, we have receipts. The internet exists,
No, but if please talk to a lawyer or a policeman, and the policeman will say that to you. Because my cousin even sent me the link, and in the link, the police, they have these funny things. If you're an immigrant, do not admit to drug use just because you are in a state where it allows the use of drugs, even if it's legal in the state. Go to your community center. That we pass flyers advising you on the law. I mean, it is not even funny. Don't talk about consuming drugs. Don't put it in writing. Don't admit to doing drugs in U.S. soil while on an immigrant visa, because the state law does not apply to immigrants.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Well,
so I'm shocked that
I
all
do
these
think
royal
we
commentators, even
well,
the Heritage Foundation, is not even picking up on this.
but I think that we can all agree on the fact that Harry will get a get out of jail free card because he's a prince. I mean, unless I think if there was a different president in the White House,
If it
maybe.
had been Trump, he'd be out.
Oh, for sure. But I do think that he's always going to get out of trouble because of who he is.
I just want, I know you're busy and anywhere, but I just wanted to ask you something that you touched on earlier. And I think this is one of the main reasons why people are hesitant to act more decisively against Harry. When you said that he would be welcomed back with open arms in spite of everything. So people are sitting on the fence because people don't want to upset the monarchy just in case he goes back and he's taken back by them.
Oh, you really think so?
Well, for example, you just said it. For example, and I think this is the big ambivalence. It's like when you don't want to meddle with a couple fighting because if they make up, I don't know if you've had girlfriends and they get
Yeah.
into fights with their boyfriends, and you go, fucking bastard, I'm gonna hate him and blah blah blah. And then you do all these crazy things, and then the girlfriend goes back with the guy,
Yeah.
and then you're the one
You're
who's
the one
the
that
evil
spray
one.
painted the hood of this car. You wrote bastard on
Exactly.
his car. That's you.
Just because you cut up the tires, and they take it personally.
Right.
You know.
You might have catfished him. It doesn't,
Yep.
oops.
But I've noticed a lot of people, I really think that this is why it's the ambivalence that people are, well, what if he goes back? And I find this with big businesses that they're doing this with him mostly, and they tolerate Meghan because what if he goes back? Just like you said, the family will take him back without Meghan, but they will take him back. And then the royal family would remember who was nice to this asshole while he was trashing everybody else. I'm serious.
I will tell you that the further I've gotten in this journey and the more that I dislike their actions and the more that I dislike their personalities based solely on their actions and nothing more, I have a hard time communicating with people that don't see it. There are some that I'd see people in my Instagram feed that were like, would post a flattering picture of Meghan, and I'm like, she is a beautiful woman. I think she's a beautiful woman, but how can you support her when her actions are so ugly? I think she has a beautiful face, but I don't think she has a pretty heart. And so I just can't get past the people that see the trashing, that see the destructive behavior. I don't, say what you want about Charles and Camilla. They're two grown-up people that have taken plenty of punches. But we know that William was there for his brother and protected his brother through some of the most horrific life events. And I am really bitter and resentful over the way that Harry has treated his brother, who went out of his way to protect his eyes and ears from the divorce, from the sex scandals, from the tacky interviews, from the photos,
From the racist comments he's done.
I mean, and so I just am I'm very angry over the way that Harry has done his brother specifically. So when I see these people that try to ride the fence, and it's a pretty picture they post a pretty picture of Catherine, then they post a pretty picture of Meghan. I'm like, no, that's not the world we're in right now. Like, what drugs are you on? Because they sound amazing. But, I can't pretend that Harry and Meghan aren't destructive and a little nasty. It's just not the reality.
But people are so elated she's not coming to the coronation. Oh, Harry's coming alone. It's like, why is he coming at all?
I
Why
get
are
that.
you happy that a snake is coming back to bite you?
I mean, can imagine being William or Catherine. It's going to be an uncomfortable situation. I'm sure it's going to be more comfortable since Meghan won't be there. But the fact of the matter is, you have to watch your back. Make sure you whisper, talk in code, or don't talk at all until you get in the car when you know you're safe. It's going to be a really sticky situation. And
Yeah, I think you know what? It's gonna be worse because I can imagine William and Catherine feeling really, really. I think they don't care about Meghan very much that she wears microphones or that she blabbs about it. But I think that they are more. It hurts more that it's Harry doing that. So I don't think that they knew what to expect of Meghan because she was a Soho girl and they have very close ties to Soho, and everybody knew she was hired by Soho to walk the carpet to be a filler. So that everybody, it's there, but so I don't think that they're as much hurt by what Meghan does, but I think what hurts them the most, especially Catherine, she had a very loving relationship with him.
Yeah, he called her his sister. He called her, he said that she's like a sister to me, the sister I always wanted. Really, with siblings like that, who needs enemies? Like you're now. I mean, over lip gloss. I'm not sharing my lip gloss with random people. Hollywood is full of herpes. Megan's straight from Hollywood. I'm not sharing my lip balm. I'm sorry.
I'm sure that's so funny. But it's really true too, I would have said to her, just keep it,
Yeah,
keep
girl,
it.
this is yours now.
I mean, why would she borrow that? Why would she borrow lipstick? That's the weirdest thing,
It's not
I'm sorry,
normal.
that's really funny. But it's true. I mean, what do you think? What are your we're gonna go, but we're gonna leave me with your predictions for the coronation, and we have to do it again. But we have to, before you go, please tell people how to get to your podcast.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's wherever you listen to podcasts. It's To Die For, DI as in Diana, To Die For Daily. I also have a new podcast called Majesty, I don't even know how to spell it, but it's T instead of Y. Oh my gosh,
Magestea.
I have to look at it. Oh, when you're not looking at your keyboard.
Magestea.
I'm not looking at my keyboard, but yes, Majesty, but no Y, TEA, and that's with Christo Fufas from Talk TV. And honestly, he is.
Are you on Spotify or elsewhere? Where are you?
Yes. If you listen to me you can listen to me on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, anywhere I actually listen to myself on Amazon Music, Audible, so you can listen wherever. But yes, I love podcasts. This is very similar to a podcast. I just like long form. Yeah, I just like long form. Those TV hits I do are fun, but I have somebody telling me go quick, and so I can't communicate as well as I can sitting here with you, or you have somebody shouting at you, so you're not able to finish your thought. I like long form content better because you can state your opinion and you can explain yourself, and somebody isn't going to see a second of that and go, oh my gosh, she's a horrible human being, I disagree with her. You've had a chance to explain your thoughts, and maybe they see your point, or maybe they go, oh, she needs to understand this other thing a little bit better, and maybe she'll side with us soon. But I do prefer this kind of platform. So thank you for having me on today, Paula. It was very fun.
And we're gonna, what we talked about before we started on the podcast. I'll send you some more details because maybe we will need somebody to come, like behind the scenes reporting things. So if you're up for it, I mean, the expenses are paid for, and I mean.
Oh my God, so, Paula, I would wear my most expensive pair of Spanx for you.
Oh, thank you so much. That'd be so awesome. But no, what do you think is going to be what do you think is going to happen in Montecito during the coronation?
Okay, so I think that the most likely thing that will happen is a very posed, Instagrammable, very curated photo of Archie will be released. It might not be of his face because that's classic Meghan. Maybe it'll be Archie with a pony, or Archie, I don't, what, on the beach, just overlooking a sunset. I don't know. It'll be something very curated. So I can see Meghan releasing a photo of Archie during the coronation for his 4th birthday to distract from the events. I could see the launch of the TIG happening around the coronation, so that there's plenty of Meghan content to go around. Yeah, that would include interviews with her celebrity friends and things like that. Maybe she'll even launch our Archetypes season 2, which should just be called Stereotypes. We just need to let the archetypes thing go. Just call it Stereotypes. And then I do think that Harry is going to have a hard time hiding his resentment, his bitterness, and his sadness at the coronation. We're going to see a lot of, like resting bitch face from Prince Harry. And I think that we won't see William and Catherine light, happy, and free until they are away from him. So we will see them happy and light when he's not around, procession, balcony. But I think when he is around, they will be blank.
How terrible. And do you think that he's going to be sitting close in the senior role now that Meghan Markle is not coming? Or is he going to be relegated to Siberia, like they were planning on keeping him away from the spotlight?
I think he's going to be with wherever they put Eugenie and Beatrice, which is typically like within view, but not important figures. I think that he'll be seated near them.
It sure is going to be interesting. And just do you know what the archetype is about? Have you heard any whispers about that?
She's just doing the same format. There is another producer that's going around doing some of the interviews. Meghan does not do all of the interviews. She likes.
I saw her. She's really angry about it.
Well, there is another producer. I think Meghan will always have someone else do the non-celebrities, and I think Meghan will always like to do the celebrity interviews herself. It's going to be the same it's going to be the same what word am I looking for?
Format,
I guess. Yeah, same format, same template, where she'll talk to a celebrity about an archetype, stereotype, and then she'll talk to a producer will talk to experts in the field, and they'll drop Meghan's audio around that.
But this is really insane, because we all know that she didn't topple Joe Rogan, not even the first 10 podcasters. If I were a podcaster, I would be very angry, because we all know that nobody, it is really frustrating, and I don't understand why she's getting away with it. Well, you have decent people and very interesting journalists like you. I love your podcast. And I'm going to leave with this.
Oh, wait,
I'm going to leave you with this.
Hold on. I just want to say about that, because you are absolutely right about the Joe Rogan thing. And they do say that she toppled Joe Rogan, and she had, they kind of puff up her numbers. I was in the top 5% of podcasts watched on Spotify for 2022. And I know I didn't get anywhere near Joe Rogan. So I just look at the way, Paula, for this Women of the Year award, Markle News One is somebody I follow on Instagram, and they did a great side-by-side of Meghan's biography on April the 5th, maybe, versus April the 6th. Watch the way that she talks about herself, the way she says she's one of the most influential, that on the next day, the most influential, the most powerful women. The way that they describe her is not only insincere. I mean, I think it's like legitimately, specifically with the podcast numbers, I think it's impossible. The way that they built.
I did do a lot about that. I did a video about it, and I said that it is really disturbing, because people nowadays have very short memories. If you didn't know who the hell Meghan is, if you'd never heard about her, and you suddenly, this bio pops up on your feed, and you read it, you think, wow, this woman is amazing. If you didn't know all this skanky stuff she does, and you didn't know her real background, and you suddenly present it with this, wouldn't you be saying, wow, this is an amazing woman?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you be saying that?
Yeah, you don't know that she like did that speech for UN Women
She's
and
a bestseller.
never entered a call again, you know? She's
a bestseller writer.
Yeah, exactly. For the bench.
And you know what? And you and I at least I love Princess Diana, and I'm sick and tired of the narrative that Meghan is just as bad as Princess Diana in attention seeking. Princess Diana. I mean, this is a woman that the photographers followed her, not the other way around.
Right. It was effortless for her. I agree. Okay, well, I interrupted you, so leave me with what you were leaving me with.
No, I just want to say that, you know, I really want to thank you. I think you're super great, and I'm gonna try to get my subscribers to show you some love. But I really like that you stand by things. I hope you go to London. Are you going to be in London covering the coronation?
Yes, I will be there May 1st through the 8th.
So we're there. Are you going to be doing lives, or what are you going to be doing?
Well, I'll be with GB News for most of it. But yeah, I mean, I imagine I will be doing some. It's just you get there and it's so crazy. I'm going to try to do as much as I can with my own social, but it is pretty chaotic once I get there. It's just you're getting yanked back and forth, and then yeah, and then so many costume changes. Paula, I can't wait for you to see my outfits. They're ridiculous.
Oh, by the way, I love that painting that guy did of you.
Isn't that so
that you posted on Instagram? The drawing, wasn't it you?
Yes, isn't that so cute? Let me make sure that he has a book. Let me make sure it's out now. I believe it's out now. It's because I found it when it came out in the UK. I think it's available in America now. But his name is Owen Grant Ennis, and he has the most beautiful book. Oh, it came out a year ago in the UK. It's available now in the States, called Duty, A Love Letter to Queen Elizabeth. And what happened to my screen? And he just has the most fun art. And that's his book about Queen Elizabeth. And we started following each other because I loved his Queen Elizabeth art, and he drew a great picture of me. So I'm so grateful for that. Thank you for saying you liked it.
No, but I love it. I love it. I left a comment, but I loved it, and I love the picture that he made about Queen Elizabeth with her back turned in the pink dress.
Yes. Oh,
that was so pretty. Yeah, guys, and you have to go sign up and like Kinsey's Instagram and Twitter and everything, because we love her here.
Oh, I love you too. And yes,
we'll hello. We're leaving now, but thanks for joining. Thanks for everything. But Kinsey, we have to do this. We have to do this again.
We will.
And I'll send you the details of this stuff that we talked about. And I want to thank you very much for taking time of your valuable day for coming and talking to us. And you can always say anything you want here. It's called freedom of free speech.
Well, maybe we could do something during the coronation. I'll see. If so, it might be me in my pajamas in a hotel room. But like, we'll try to get together and do something soon.
Yeah, but let me know so I can advertise it on the YouTube channel, and let people know so they can go watch you, especially if you have the times that you're going to be on or something, send it to me so I can send people over to see it, okay?
Right. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you again soon, Paula.
Thank you so very much, and
bye,
thanks
everybody.
for joining.
Thank you for watching.
Bye-bye.